Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city on this Monday. It means we're brought to you by Gulf Coast Office Products. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Odds are it might not be because it got off to a rocky one last night. Jacob back, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Plenty to do here over the next 2 hours. We will talk a little bit of football in the second hour. I want to talk about LSU's huge recruiting weekend. We will do that with Sonny Shipp at 2 o'clock. And then we'll talk a little bit about the Saints potentially as a landing spot for Kirk Cousins in the second hour. There's a lot of baseball that's about to be played over the next probably 10, 11 hours. That we will chat about. There was a ton of baseball that was played over the weekend that we're going to talk about. And oh, what a difference 3 hours can make in a show opening. Let's do that show opening the same way we do it every single day, our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's opening drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
If I throw this thing back about 20 hours, I'm sitting there at my house. I'm watching Vanderbilt lose. I'm watching Texas lose. I'm watching Florida lose. I'm watching a lot of the more talented teams in college baseball kind of drop by the wayside. There goes Georgia. And LSU has just throttled two teams in its regional, is sitting in the catbird seat with basically the entire pitching staff ready to go. And oh, by the way, the 4-seed Little Rock, the lowest RPI in the field, is taking it to Dallas Baptist, and looks like that's going to be who LSU gets in the box on a Sunday. I don't know if I could have felt any better. I mean, I'm probably not alone here. I'm thinking there's a lot of you that were watching that are paying attention that are going, well, if I look at LSU, West Virginia or Kentucky coming in here, and then like, okay, that side, Georgia was supposed to be on that side of the bracket in Omaha, so was Texas. They're out. Like, you start thinking about national championships yesterday afternoon. Like, that's what I'm doing. And I fast forward to today, and I've got a knot in my stomach the size of a volleyball because LSU went out there last night and played their second worst game of the season. And now that season is on the line against Little Rock tonight. Like, I'm still a little bit stunned. So we want to talk about all this, and it's so crazy because, again, middle of the afternoon yesterday, I'm thinking LSU has played 2 error-free games. Anderson and Ianson are clearly the best 1-2 punch in college baseball. The offense kind of woke up. They weren't great on Friday, but they did enough, and then they kind of busted it out on Saturday. Really good pieces of hitting. Stanfield's hitting a home run. Curiel's breaking out. Milam's breaking out. And I'm going, all right, they're cooking now. They're at home. They're figuring something out. They're playing really well. This is a team that's positioned itself nicely to go do something. And then you go out there and do that. And I don't have a great explanation. I'm not big into the team's not focused. I'm not big into came out flat. I'm sometimes you just don't play well in baseball. And last night, LSU didn't play well. I did not have a problem at all with Jay Johnson starting Jaden Newt in that ball game last night. Jaden Newt has been very good the last month. Starting midweek games, got a start in the SEC tournament, struck out 7 Ole Miss hitters early in that game. Yeah, gave up the home run, but like he got you into the game. And then Chase Shores, over the last 3 weeks, has been dynamite, up to 101 miles an hour, throwing strikes, kind of found a groove out of the bullpen. I had no problem going to him. And those two guys just didn't have it. Newt could not miss a bat, just could not put anyone away, and then finally gives up the long home run to Kano, who's just unconscious, 250 hitter on the year. Nobody can get him out. And then Shores comes in and just completely loses the strike zone. Walk, 3-run double. Same guy. And at that point, I think everyone in the stadium, myself very much included, just got shocked. And I've watched the game we watched last night multiple times in that stadium, and I've watched the one where the other team kind of melts down and LSU eventually takes over and wins it inside Alec Box. Like, I've seen both of those games. Last night reeked of late Stony Brook and late Houston in 2014, where the bats just went away. Just went away. You faced 4 Little Rock pitchers last night. Not one of them featured a plus pitch of any kind. Bunch of 88-mile-an-hour fastballs, spinny breaking balls. Malcolm Brown goes out there. This guy's conference ERA was north of 10. And he's just throwing it 88 miles an hour over the plate, and LSU can't square it up. He struck out 3 guys in 5 1/3. I've seen plenty of pitchers come in against LSU and dominate. Come out there, and they're just breaking balls off. They're throwing 98 miles an hour. Sometimes that happens in baseball. You got a guy that's just on. This guy was just flipping it over the plate, and LSU just couldn't hit it. And you could feel the tension in the stadium just tightening up, and LSU couldn't break it. And then in the 7th, Reeves rips that ball, and first baseman dives and stabs it, double play. And Cooper Williams is out there holding the rope, to use Skip Bertman's line, and now the one that Chris Curry is using for Little Rock. He's holding the rope. He's letting LSU have a chance. And he gives you 3 2/3 of great baseball, shutout, 4 strikeouts. Kept getting LSU right back into the dugout, grabbing the bats. And they couldn't hit Malcolm Brown. And last night was an encapsulation of the biggest problems LSU has faced this year. 1, the pitching staff beyond Anderson, Ianson, Cowan, and Evans. And those guys, Newt and Shores, and then Jacob Myers, faltered, as they have multiple times. And then the offense just losing it. And you had your chances early, as y'all all know. You leave the bases loaded in the 4th and the 5th after leaving 2 men on in the 3rd. And you just got to get that hit. Ethan Fry and Michael Braswell need to get that hit. And they didn't. The one minor quibble, I wouldn't call it an issue, I wouldn't call it a complaint, I wouldn't even call it a criticism, it's a minor quibble that I had, is right when Kano gets the 3-run double, and that's a 4 spot for Little Rock in the 3rd, and they take a 6-3 lead. Jay Johnson immediately starts pinch hitting in the 4th inning. And he goes to John Pearson over Jake Brown, and that triggers a pitching change, and then he leaves John in there instead of going to Josh against the right-hander, and then immediately goes to Larson. Now, look, it's a quibble because John Pearson reached base, was an error, but he reached base, and then Larson got a hit and ended up being part of a run-scoring play. So it wasn't as if it didn't work, but I thought that maybe the tone that it set, like, we got to go now, was it was pushing a button really early in the 4th inning. And I think that, I don't know if the team responded to it or not, but I do know that they scored 1 time after the 1st inning. And in the 1st inning, they hit 2 pop-ups that landed in right field. One was a bloop single, one the right fielder lost. And almost only came up with 1 run, and then Milam did rip that 2-out RBI single, which was a great swing. But it wasn't like they were hitting rockets all over the place in that 3-run inning. But the offense just went away. And so it's a startling loss, and it's one that puts you with your season on the brink right now. There was so much good this weekend, and it's hard for me to go back and look at it because of the situation that you present yourself with today. Now, I'm going to talk about today's game in the next segment, but I want to briefly just kind of go back to what we saw over the first 2 days, because I think that is an important part of the story as well, because that is LSU's baseball team as it's constituted right now. And when Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson are on the bump, that is as good a baseball team as there is in the country. It's not perfect. It's not a juggernaut. It's not as good as the 23 team. And the offense is not as good as Arkansas. It's not as explosive as Tennessee. It didn't play as well this weekend as North Carolina did against Kyson Witherspoon or Florida State did most of the weekend. But with those 2 guys on the mound and what they can do and the way that they're pitching and the talent level in LSU's offense, you saw over the course of 2 days, while everybody else, it seemed like, was losing games, you won 19-0. That's still in there. And that's really probably a conversation for tomorrow if tonight goes the way it's supposed to go. But last night sucks that life right out of you, because that was frightening to watch a team that was 26-33 take it to you on your home field in front of 13,000 people. I don't know if Jay Johnson, after the game, gets into the guys. I doubt that pretty seriously. I don't know if he says, hey, flush it, see y'all tomorrow. I don't know if there are significant offensive adjustments. I don't know if he expresses disappointment. Like, I don't know how he handles the guys after that. And trust me, 19, 20-year-old college baseball players react to things like that far differently than 37-year-old diehard fan radio hosts. But I still think it was probably pretty jarring, because that stadium was silent and stunned, and I'm sure that the guys down there in the gold uniforms were the very same. And what felt like yesterday at 6 o'clock when I got to Alex Box Stadium, a team that was on the precipice of a coronation this weekend, and the discussion in the week to come about how LSU might be the best team in the country, to like, well, you better show up tonight, because if you do that again, you can pack your bags for summer ball. That is how quickly this thing can change on a dime. So let's take a time out. Let's come back, and let's talk about what needs to happen tonight. I've got the pitching situations. I've got lineup thoughts. I've got some thoughts on Little Rock and what the ledger looks like in terms of pros and cons for LSU versus Little Rock in the ballgame at 8 o'clock tonight. We'll do that coming up next on The Hunt Palmer.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, Our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Gulf Coast Office Products.
All right, LSU and Little Rock tonight at 8 o'clock. Not a game I thought we'd be showing up for, but here we are. And this is kind of where I start with this game tonight. If you look at the talent on the two rosters, it's advantage LSU, obviously. You look at freshness of pitchers, it's LSU. You look at talent of pitchers, it's LSU. You look at NCAA tournament experience, it's LSU. You look at the home crowd, it's LSU. LSU has an advantage in every possible dimension of this game tonight, except psychology. You've got one team that knows it's here to play for a national championship, that knows that Little Rock is in the other dugout with a losing record, that knows that this would be, and I'm not using hyperbole here, this would be the worst loss in the history of the program if you lost this game tonight. It would be an embarrassment. And then you got another team in the other dugout that's going, man, this is sweet. If we lose, we had an awesome week. We win, oh my God, we will talk about this forever and ever. That's the two mindsets. And you heard it from Chris Curry, their coach, last night. I was in the media tent after midnight last night, listening to him talk, and he's going, we got nothing to lose. We're playing loose and free, and they're having a blast, and we'll play it for one more day if that's it, and we'll play it for another week if that's it. So the only check mark in the Little Rock category is psychology. How does LSU respond today? Because you've got plenty of pitching. Kason Evans has gone over 85 pitches 3 times in the last month. He can throw 5, 6, if he's really efficient, 7 innings tonight. And he's a starting pitcher, has started SEC games, and he's fresh. You could use the word rusty and pitched in 2 weeks, but he's fresh. Zach Cowan has started games in his career. He's gone over 50 pitches a couple of times. He could absolutely go 4 or 5 innings tonight. I've already given you 12 innings there if everything goes really well. Connor Ware has not thrown a pitch in this regional. DJ Primo has pitched twice, but has been used very lightly. He can come in. Those 2 guys can get a left-hander out if you need that. So that's the bucket of guys that are absolute green light. It's Cowan, it's Evans, it's Primo, it's Ware. Those guys are ready to go for whatever you ask them to do in this game. Then there's another bucket for LSU of guys that could go either way. I don't know how they respond. I don't know what kind of testing LSU's done with them. I don't know exactly the protocol for how much who can give what. But I know Maverick Rizzi threw 10 pitches on Friday and 21 last night. Can he come in and get you 2 outs? I don't know. He's certainly not, in my mind, completely shut down. It's a discussion to have. Jacob Myers threw 13 on Friday, 36 last night. Chase Shores threw 39 last night. And Anthony Ianson threw 98 on Friday. So he's had 2 days off. We saw Gage Jump come back last year. That's like I'm not sure, not a lot, but okay, maybe. The only names I would for sure rule out, to me, are Cade Anderson and Cooper Williams and probably Jaden Moot. Those 3 guys I don't think would be available. But I don't even feel like LSU really has to get to the questionable guys. I think they'll start Kason Evans tonight. I think they'll try to get 5 or 6 innings out of him. If there's a spot where you feel like you need to match up before you get to Cowan with the lefty, you've got that ability. And then I think that they would be very comfortable having Zach Cowan throw 65 or 70 pitches tonight if he needed to. He hasn't gone that high this year, but he obviously was a starter last year. He's not a first-round pick. He's had 2 weeks off. It's a warm June night. He's a strong kid. He's not tall, but he's strong. And I would have no problem with him going 75 pitches. That's 2 guys you feel like they can go 75, 80, 90 pitches tonight. So I think that LSU is in a good spot from a pitching perspective. Now, if you flip over to Little Rock, I realize that y'all don't know their names. You shouldn't know their names. But I know this. I was in the radio booth during the game last night as Chris, Doug, and Buzzy were on the call. And they have binoculars. I don't. And they were just doing on the call. And I heard Chris and Doug talking about someone that was warming up in the bullpen that had thrown 80 pitches the day earlier. That's where Little Rock is in this pitching. Everybody's been thrown. Everybody's kind of thrown a lot, and none of them care, okay? They're not worried about first-round picks or second-round picks. They're not worried about, professional futures. They're worried about 9 innings at the box tonight. Anybody whose arm still functions is available. My guess is that you're going to see Friday's starter. That's Jackson Wells, who was the nation's ERA leader 2 years ago, who LSU saw in the first game of the regional, who gutted his way through 5 innings. LSU never knocked him all over the place, 7 hits and 3 earned runs, but he threw 103 pitches on Friday. I would imagine he's in for a pretty sizable workload tonight. Also, you've got Brody Bunting. Brody Bunting has started a lot of games for Rhode Island. He threw 83 pitches on Saturday in relief. I think you'll see him tonight. And then you've got Jack Klein, who started the Saturday game that they played against Rhode Island. He threw 35 pitches. Those 3 guys, Jackson Wells, Brody Bunting, and Jack Klein, lead Little Rock in starts this year. So it's some variation of their weekend rotation, and I think all of them are available. All of them have been used. Again, Wells threw 103 on Friday, Bunting threw 83 on Saturday, Klein threw 35 on Saturday. I think all of them are available, and I expect to see all of them. And here's the thing about all of them. They're not very good. Klein's ERA is 5.5. Bunting's ERA is 5.5. Wells' ERA is 5.5. And they're pitching against the Ohio Valley. None of them are going to hit 95 with their fastball. None of them have plus changeups. This is a matter of LSU locking in and executing offensively. Here's something I'll tell you about tonight, because I'm starting to pick up on a lot of things now that this is year 4 for Jay Johnson. I'm starting to pick up on a lot of things that he says and a lot of things he believes in, a lot of things he practices. And one of the things he said, I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday, but I was in I think it was Friday. I was in the tent when he said it. He talked about wanting to play from ahead in the postseason. He feels like that's very important. So he's not going to bunt Jared Jones if Curiel leads off with a single tonight. But I believe he will bunt early in this game. I believe he will do one of those first and third, 1 out, steal second base and stop, let the runner come home. I think he'll do that. I think he'll safety squeeze early in this game. If LSU is tied, if it's 0-0, I think you'll see LSU do that. If it's 1-1, I think you'll see LSU do that early in this game. I don't like that against this team. I want LSU's lineup to get as many full cuts off of this bad pitching staff as possible. And running into an out on purpose on a steal and squeeze bunting, to me, is taking away a potential swing. I get plating a run, and you're up there to score runs, but I'm not into giving. I want 27 hacks at this depleted, bad pitching staff. That's what my call to duty would be for LSU in this game. Now, the good news on offense is that Stephen Milam has found it. He's stinging the ball, especially from the left side, and that's all Little Rock has, a bunch of righties. Curiel's come out of it. He swung the bat very well. You're just going to need a couple of big swings. And I'm sitting here watching these regionals. I watched a ton of baseball over the weekend, a ton. And everybody is running the ball out of the yard all over the place. I know Athens is a bandbox. I know that. But they're jumping the yard constantly. Oklahoma State hit two-run home runs to walk that game off against Georgia. I'm looking at Tallahassee, and Mississippi State's hitting dingers everywhere, and Florida State's hitting home runs everywhere. I'm watching in Oxford. Murray State's running the ball out of the yard all over the place. I know LSU's lineup is not built on power. I got that. But somebody's got to hit the ball over the fence, man. Daniel Dickinson hit 2 on Friday, and Stanfield hit 1 in the opposite field on Saturday, which I would have bet everything that I have that would not happen. 1, I wouldn't bet he did a homer. 2, I would definitely not bet he would hit it to the opposite field. But this is the time of year where the ball jumps. This is the time of the year where the wind blows. This is the time of the year where you get non-SEC taxed bullpens that aren't any good. And there may be a lot of you that are listening to me saying this, well, that's probably why they're popping up all the time. They're trying to hit home runs. That's not what I'm not talking about an approach. I'm not talking about stand in the box and try to hit a home run. I'm talking about just from an analysis of the game, you would think LSU's got enough good hitters that you'd run into a couple of bad pitches and hammer them off the scoreboard. That gets the crowd going. That gets the team going. That puts 2 or 3 runs on the board, bam, in one swing. And Jones is the guy that you look at, obviously. And I wrote this at LouisianaSports.net. I said it on Friday. And y'all may think I'm absolutely nuts. But this is a guy that has crushed this type of pitching all year. He hit 9 home runs in 13 midweek games. And this pitching that you're seeing from Little Rock is right out of the midweek playbook. BP fastballs and mediocre sliders. And he's just fighting it right now. And LSU needs its best dude to break out. And here's the deal with Jones tonight. I don't need him to go 4 for 4 with 3 homers. I just need the one swing. He can strike out twice if I get the one swing. And if Chris Curry is going to walk Derek Curiel to put another base runner on for the guy with the 3rd most home runs in the history of the greatest program in college baseball, he's got to pay for that. He's got to pay for that. Looked like a genius last night. He's got to pay for that. And he didn't. Jared Jones right now is 2 for his last 22 with 10 strikeouts. You know he wants to do it. You know what's got to be on his mind, where you're talking about a guy who has a draft coming up, who's trying to get back to Omaha. He feels like, and this is his words, not mine, and Jay Johnson certainly disagrees with this, and I probably do too. He feels like he wasn't a big contributor on the national championship team. Now, he started a lot of games, and he hit 13 home runs, and he hit over 300. He had a huge home run against Kentucky, and he was part of LSU getting a national seed. He didn't play a lot in the tournament because they had decided that Beloso was going to be the DH, and Morgan moved back in, and they were going to play Joubert and Pearson in the outfield. But he doesn't feel like he was a big piece to that puzzle. And he wants to get to Omaha and do this with himself being one of the centerpieces. Not in a selfish way, just in a way that that's how he perceives it. And so he's got all that going on in his head, and he's battling it. And LSU needs him to come out of it. But the good news is you've got a lineup that more often than not has been good. I get that there are people that will listen to me say that, and they'll go, what are you talking about? They hadn't hit for a month. There have been times where they have not hit. But there have been more times over the course of the last 4 months where they have. Now, it's easier to go up there and execute offensively when you got a safety blanket of Anderson and Ianson throwing shutouts. I fully concede that, fully admit that, and you don't have that tonight. But this is not a bad offensive team. It's a team that has bad offensive stretches. And you have one of two things that's got to break you out of it. One, superstars. Tonight, Jones hits 2 homers and drives in 6. Superstar, do it. 2, the depth. You take this Little Rock pitching staff on its last leg, and you get 17 hits. One of those two things has got to happen. I'm struggling to process the loss last night. And I'm very hopeful that my inkling is correct and that the guys on the team don't feel it as heavy as I do. They're kids. They're confident. They get to play baseball tonight in front of an awesome crowd. That's what Jay Johnson said last night. It's an opportunity to go play. I, of course, like most of the people in the stands last night, am looking at this going, Stony Brook, Coastal, Little Rock. Like that's what I'm looking at. I don't think the players feel that way. But man, it'd be nice if they got off to a good start tonight. First, they got off to a good start last night. It didn't happen for them. So these 8 o'clock starts, they are late. I'm walking into my house at 12:40 in the morning every single night. A little bit tougher when you got to get up and come to work the next morning, but it'll be with a smile on my face if I walk into my house tonight at 12:40 and LSU has moved on to the Super Regional round. We'll see tonight at 8 o'clock. A lot of baseball coming up this evening, and I'll talk about some of that, plus some of the things we saw this weekend, including a coach that acted like a complete jerk and an umpire that enforced a rule that I don't think he should have. We'll talk about all that coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Gulf Coast Office Products.
Monday show is brought to you by Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com. All your printing, scanning, copying needs, Gulf Coast Office Products. You can work with the big box stores for your printing, scanning, copying, and you'll be just a line item. And if you call them, you might get some recorded line in Atlanta or San Francisco. You might not. They'll have all the resources you need, but what's your customer service like? Probably not great. You can work with the mom and pop store, too, and you'll have a great relationship with them. They'll always pick up the phone, but can they service all of your needs? Split that difference right down the middle with Gulf Coast Office Products, an amazing staff right here in the state of Louisiana, all the resources that you need, whatever line of work that you're in, whatever vertical market you fall under. Trey Beal and his team at Gulf Coast Office Products have got clients that do the same thing you do and are happy to help you with your printing, scanning, copying needs. Give them a shout or go see them online, GCOPnet.com. It's Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, I want to talk a little bit about this weekend as a whole. First of all, first talking point, squeeze play is incredible. You've got Chris Burke, who just knows so much baseball. I learn something every time I listen to him. You've got Mike Rooney, who the same way coached college baseball, loves college baseball, has a wealth of knowledge about the different programs around the country. They both have a great witty banter about them, and you're just catching so much drama and so much action. I thoroughly enjoyed my squeeze play indulgence over the weekend for a lot of the time that LSU wasn't playing. That's number one. Then two weird stories. You may have caught these, or you may not have. I think you're all kind of caught up on the wins and losses of the weekend, which is the most important thing. But there were two weird stories that may not have blipped your radar. And I want to bring them up. The first is a suspension of a Duke player for the first game of the Super Regional next weekend that, to me, must be overturned. Must be overturned. If you missed this, Duke has a hard hat in their dugout. They give it to players who do something gritty, something grimy, some dirty work. And they give it to them in the dugout when they've done that. There's a rule in the NCAA rule book that prohibits the use of props outside the dugout for home runs. You can't come out there with a Miami-style turnover chain and crown somebody at home plate after they hit a home run. I'm fine with that. We don't need folks doing that either. You want to dance or take a picture like Southern Miss does? Awesome. You can't be bringing prop items out on the field. That's fine. And that's the rule. You can't do it. You're ejected. You're suspended. But they've got this hard hat in the dugout. Duke does. And one of their players, one of their best players, did some sort of dirty work. I don't know if he laid down a bunt, if he got a ground ball to the right side, if he hit a sac fly to tie the game. I'm not exactly sure what it was. He didn't hit a homer, but he did the dirty work, and he came into the dugout, and he got the hard hat. And right when they put the hard hat on him, his teammate hit a homer. So everybody left the dugout, including him, still wearing the hard hat. He was 6 feet out of the dugout. And he was now suspended for next week's game. I understand the spirit of that rule. This was not breaking it. This is not what that rule was put in for. So that's got to be overturned for sure. That is number one, if you missed that. Number two, and this may be unfair, but I'm going to speak to this without any actual knowledge. It's just my perception from afar, and I'm admitting that right out front. Kevin O'Sullivan, the Florida head coach, brilliant coach, incredible program at Florida, national champion, played for it again against LSU. You can't argue with what Kevin O'Sullivan has done in Gainesville on the field. But he goes to Coastal, and on Sunday morning is berating the associate athletic director and one of the members of the grounds crew about the facility and the scheduling of the game. And there's a video of him just absolutely laying into this young man before a game. And I don't have every detail here. I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know what was said, but I watched Kevin O'Sullivan's demeanor and who he is speaking to. And then you have the context after the game ends. Kevin O'Sullivan was asked about it. He said, don't want to talk about that. I handled it properly after the game, which we stand to believe is an apology that he issued. And then Coastal's coach comes out, and he didn't pull any punches, metaphorically. He was like, look, he's a national championship coach. He's disrespecting our associate athletic director, who works incredibly hard, disrespecting our facility management folks who are salt of the earth and work incredibly hard. He's bullying people, yelling at people, berating people. He said it was unacceptable, unprofessional. I mean, he went on and on and on and didn't stop. And I'm going to take all these context clues and just deduce, without any actual firsthand knowledge, that Kevin O'Sullivan was just being a complete jerk for no reason. And I just get the sense, again, with no real knowledge, that that's just kind of who he is. I get the sense that's just kind of what his MO is. Again, I never met the guy, never talked to him. It's probably unfair. I preface the entire thing. But I just don't like when people treat people like that. There's no reason to do that. And when the video evidence came out of that, it just further cemented it. You can read the press clippings all you want on Kevin O'Sullivan and some of the things that have happened in Gainesville, Florida, and I'm not even going to speak to any of that kind of stuff because I just don't know. But there's a lot of smoke, and I just don't really have much use for that. And quite frankly, I do know that LSU entertained the idea of hiring Kevin O'Sullivan in the last hiring cycle when they hired Jay Johnson. I am thrilled that LSU did not do that because I don't like the way the guy carries himself. Again, maybe I'm dead wrong because I never met him once in my entire life. Don't know anyone who has, but it just looks that way. There's a ton of baseball today. Going to be cranking up at 5 o'clock. North Carolina and Oklahoma from Chapel Hill. It's the second. Ole Miss doesn't have a lot of pitching left, and Murray State does have some offense, but I just think the Rebels are going to hit 10 more home runs because the Rebels usually hit 10 more home runs. Then the late games are going to be Baton Rouge and Corvallis, 8 o'clock, LSU and Little Rock, and Oregon State and Southern Cal. I'll give you some picks later on in the show today, but that's a lot of baseball, and I'll be real honest. When LSU threw that first pitch, well, I guess Little Rock threw the first pitch of the game last night, I was thinking, man, I hope some of these games go to Monday because LSU's going to win tonight. I'll be able to come back and watch a ton of baseball on Monday stress-free. Well, there'll be plenty of stress for me starting at 8 o'clock, but there's great baseball coming up this evening. We'll step aside, come back, and we'll close out on number one next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group. HighlandIG.com is that website. Storm season's here. It is here. Make sure your property policy is written correctly. Do you know what your business interruption limit is? If you're a business owner, if you're CFO, that could be the difference if a storm rolls through. Premium's important. We know that on the front end. Highland Insurance Group is going to make sure that one of their dozens of markets takes care of you from a premium perspective, but the coverage is vital in the instance of a loss. And with storms at this part of the world, you never know what could happen. So give Jonathan Carver and his team a call. Make sure your property policy is ready to respond during storm season. They're online at HighlandIG.com. It's the Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance, Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 7.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Gulf Coast Office Products.
All right, huge recruiting weekend for LSU over the weekend. Football program, Sonny Ship, 24/7 Sports, going to be with us coming up at the top of the hour to talk about all of that. Looking forward to it. Big-time quarterback on campus as well. But for right now, we'll close out the hour with Dr. Jeffrey Hogan. This is Sports Health, presented by Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Dr. Hogan, we appreciate some time. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
It is our pleasure. I know that the heat is officially here and will be for some time, and a part of your specialty over at Ochsner is dealing with heat-related illnesses. Tell us some of the things that y'all see most frequently and maybe some preventative measures that the folks can take this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, the summer's here. It's heating up. People are getting out there, being more active, which is great. But with that, we need to be very cognizant of kind of some of the risks that come along with that. So we see dehydration is probably number one at the top of the list. And from that, it kind of stems a lot of other things. So dehydration, we start getting into like heat exhaustion. Biggest thing we're trying to avoid is something like heat stroke. So it's very important to kind of, like you said, prevent a lot of these things. Best things we can do, and we start early, start hydrating early before. If you wait till you're thirsty to start drinking, you're already behind the eight ball. So we recommend start drinking 4 hours before you're getting out there. So that's the first thing when you wake up. During the activity, during your exercise, whatever you're doing, make sure you're taking frequent breaks, trying to get a cup of water at least every 30 minutes. And sometimes you need to even go more than that, depending on how hard you're going. We see a lot of there's so many sports drinks out there nowadays that those are great. They offer great electrolytes for us, but you got to be careful with them because there's tons of sugar. There's lots of salt. You can actually cause some issues with that. So sampling or sprinkling in some electrolyte drinks with your water is really important too. But biggest thing, take frequent breaks. Make sure you're staying hydrated.
Chatting with Dr. Jeffrey Hogan from Ochsner. A PRP is something that Dr. Burnham and I have spoken about, and I wanted to bring that up with you as well because I know it's one of your specialties. Folks dealing with pain, whether it's an acute injury or chronic pain, tell us about the technology that y'all have got and the results that y'all have seen.
Yeah, so PRP, like you mentioned, stands for platelet-rich plasma. It's a great treatment option we have for a variety of injuries, whether that's an acute injury, sports-related injury, whether that's chronic pain, arthritis, whatever it may be. So it actually uses the patient's own blood. We can take a sample of their blood and spin it in a centrifuge machine to separate out all the component parts and really isolate the plasma and the platelets to use and kind of harness your body's own healing factors, growth factors, and a variety of kind of chemical signals, and inject that and place that in different parts of the body to try to promote tissue healing, reduce pain, try to promote healing of tendon injuries, ligament injuries, muscle injuries. We use it all over. Like I said, acute, chronic. We'll use it after surgeries, kids, athletes, adults, weekend warriors, you name it, non-athletes. Like there's a wide range of things we can treat that for, and we get great results with it. People love it because it's their own. It's not it's not another medicine. It's not a chemical taken from outside, putting in. We're using your own blood, your own natural tissue to heal itself, and we see some great results with that.
Every week, Dr. Burnham mentions the walk-in clinic that y'all have, including the location and the hours. If you could do that as well, we'd love it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing some great things at our Ochsner Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute. We're partnered with the Elite Training Academy, 5444 Burbank Drive. With this summer, people are going to be active. So anything happens, we've got somebody there that can see you and get you in immediately as a walk-in. We've got extended hours Thursdays and Fridays till 10 p.m. Thursdays, 11 p.m. Fridays, and Saturday and Sunday we'll have somebody there till 5 p.m. So we're thrilled to be able to offer really kind of round-the-clock coverage for whatever it may be. X-ray evaluations, we've got everything you need over there.
Right there on Burbank within Elite over there. It's the good folks over at Ochsner. They're good enough to give us a little bit of time on these Mondays. Dr. Hogan, we appreciate you pinch hitting for Dr. Burnham. Have a great week. Thanks.
Thank you. You too.
He is Dr. Jeffrey Hogan from Ochsner at Ochsner Andrews Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute. We know that sports-related injuries can be unpredictable, but one situation you can protect yourself from is heat illness. Some key signs to look out for: excessive sweating, dry mouth, dizziness, fast heart rate, or a change in mental status. If you feel any of these symptoms, stop physical activity immediately. Find a place to cool off and replenish fluids. To learn more about sports injury prevention and treatment, visit ochsner.org/BRortho. Appreciate very much Dr. Hogan for jumping aboard and talking about that. It's no joke, and he's telling the truth there. Get up, start drinking before you get out there in the yard. Before you get out there as kids start playing sports. The heat is here to stay, and it's going to be here, I guess, till about Halloween. So we'll see. Little Rock handled the Heat yesterday pretty well. They were able to win 2 ball games, and now they get some rest. And now LSU and Little Rock will do some battle this evening at 8 o'clock. I've still got a lot more to talk about as far as that game goes. Some keys to the game, and then I thought we want to talk about the other the other regional games that are going to go on today in the second hour. Plus, does Kirk Cousins fit in with the New Orleans Saints? You might laugh, but I'll give you a thought on that in the second hour. Plus, as I mentioned there earlier, a huge weekend in recruiting for LSU that we'll get to at the top of hour number 2 as well. I want to remind you about Gulf Coast Office Products. They bring you our Monday shows. All your printing, scanning, copying needs. Check them out online at gcopnet.com. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal, and all the folks over at Gulf Coast Office Products. It was a quick first hour there. That's a really quick first hour. Talked about the Tigers last night and what went wrong. Talked about the pitching situation for this coming game on Monday night. If you missed any of that, as well as my thoughts on the other regionals, you can check that out on demand before the game tonight. Wherever you find your sound, just search Hunt Palmer Show. Like, subscribe, rate, and review. We appreciate that. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube as well. So check all that out on demand. If you're looking for LSU football content, Hunt on LSU. If you're looking for Saints content, Hunt on Saints, anywhere you find your sound. As I mentioned, Sonny Shipp is going to be with us. Big-time quarterback that was on campus. Garrett Nussmeier hosted him. Saw some pictures online. LSU is looking toward potentially landing a number 1 type class in this cycle. Sonny's going to give us some great names from over the weekend. And then a thought on tonight's finals as well. Very much looking forward to that. So we'll step aside, get your national headlines now from the folks up at National ESPN. We'll hear some ads from our great sponsors, and we'll get back for hour number 2 of a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, as always, presented by the folks at Gulf Coast Office Products.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is that website. Every car that is on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. How about 3 years of complimentary valet maintenance? How about a 100,000-mile warranty over 10 years? Those are part of the perks of being a Genesis driver. Most of you that are listening have never gotten behind the wheel of a Genesis. It's new to the game. Give it a shot when the time comes to make your next vehicle purchase. You're probably going to be on Airline Highway anyway, where a lot of dealerships are. We know that. You got options. Just make this one of your options. Get on by and see their great team of brand ambassadors at Airline and PQ across from Women's Hospital. Tell them the Hunt Palmer Show sent you over there, and just check out that line. Sedans, SUVs, they've got them all among the safest cars on the road. Sleek, stylish, comfortable. It's a luxury vehicle and a luxury experience. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. You can find the entire inventory online. It's right there at GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. After playing 100 NFL games, including the playoffs, all of them starts during a 7-year career, Lions center Frank Ragnow announces his retirement. Ragnow says he's tried to convince himself that he's feeling good, but he's not, and says it's time to prioritize his health. The Pacers and Thunder prepping for the NBA Finals, a former ABA team, and the former Seattle Supersonics. ESPN's Monica McNutt says the Pacers are undervalued.
I know the debate is common whether or not Tyrese Halliburton has reached star status, and I get that. But whether he has or haven't, Indiana is a sum of their parts. And their parts are young, fast, and connected. And it's just a good, fun brand of basketball.
Monica McNutt on Game Night. Pacers and Thunder, Game 1 Thursday night on ESPN Radio and ABC.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Tuesday as the Bears open up minicamp. I'll tell you if my expectations of what I need to see from Caleb Williams this season has changed. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Gulf Coast Office Products. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. It was a very, very busy day weekend over at Alec Box Stadium. A lot of baseball, 6 games over 3 days. But that wasn't all that was going on campus. Lots and lots of high-profile football recruiting visitors were in Baton Rouge over the weekend. To detail it all, we bring in our guy, Sonny Shipp from 24/7 Sports. Sonny, how are you, sir?
Doing good, man. How about you, brother?
Well, I'd have been better if LSU had won a baseball game last night, and I'll be fine if they win one tonight. But as of right now, I'm a little testy, a little nervous. That's how.
I mean, it's just, if you're gonna lose, don't make me stay up till after midnight. And for you guys who are actually having to be there, rolling into the house at 3:00 in the morning after taking an L like that. I mean,
my wife is not
I feel
thrilled.
For you, brother.
My wife's not thrilled with the time that I've arrived home the last 3 nights. That's not in her wheelhouse, but she gets another one tonight, so here we are. Bath time's on her this evening. All right, let's talk some recruiting and some visitors. I think the highest profile name is Bo Bentley. Saw a picture of he and Garrett Nussmeier up in Tiger Stadium. Just kind of give us a breakdown of who he is and where that whole thing stands.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at recruiting boards and what LSU's what their needs are and who their top targets are, I mean, every class needs a quarterback. Bo Bentley, the number 7 quarterback in the country, 6'2", about 200, 205. A dual threat dude, though. He ran for over just under 1,000 yards at Salina, Texas last year. Threw for over 3,500 and just, scored responsible for a lot of touchdowns. And, getting him in town on the first weekend like this, especially coming on the heels of your competition for him is Oklahoma. He goes there next weekend. So you get the first crack to impress him. And from all accounts, Joe Sloan and the staff, blew it out of the park. They feel LSU was in a good spot going into this visit. The 24/7 Sports staff placed a crystal ball pick on LSU with him, and I think a confidence level 6 out of 10, if I'm not mistaken, which is about average, about par for the course. But and so you're able to just kind of build on the momentum that you kind of had going into the visit, and so considering where he is and how prominent of a prospect he is on the board, you got to really feel good about where you sit right now coming off of the weekend.
It's weird that LSU has kind of become this destination for quarterbacks over the course of the last 10 years. I realized the way things went at the end with Bryce Underwood, I'm not blaming Joe Sloan and Brian Kelly for that one bit. And now they're right back in the mix for another really high-profile quarterback, and then, of course, a couple in the years to follow. Can you kind of speak to Joe Sloan, Brian Kelly, and how they've been able to recruit quarterbacks? I would even toss Michael Van Buren out of the transfer portal in that mix.
Yeah, and I mean, look, you start with Jaden Daniels, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you bring Jaden Daniels in on your, so early in the process. You get him when you get to town, but Bryce Underwood, you had that situation that he did. But I go back and I look at all the top quarterbacks that Joe Sloan brings into camps, that he gets on campus on unofficial visits. I mean, there was a time, like you said, go back to 2014, man. You remember the quarterback situation then?
Yeah.
Probably the second least most dire situation back to when you have to go back to the early 90s when you had Saul Graves, Chad Loop, and Jesse Daigle. And so to see how far the recruiting has come in just 10 years, you got Joe Burrow, you got Jaden Daniels, you got 2 Heisman Trophy quarterbacks right there. And then you fast forward and you look ahead to 2027, 2028. And I think Joe Sloan is just relentless on the trail. And having the history that LSU has had of the recent success of Burrow and Daniels obviously helps. But I think Joe Sloan is a huge part of why he's got LSU in the picture of so many prominent quarterbacks.
Let's move away from quarterbacks. A couple names here that I wanted to mention were Calvin Russell and Jaden Crimpton. Can you tell us about those two and how their weekends apparently went?
Yeah, LSU, you look at the wide receiver position, you got Jabari Mack, you got Tristan Keys, number 1 wideout in the country. You got Kenny Darby, who visited Alabama over the weekend, made a few headlines with I'm going to make my final decision in July, kind of thing. But, And so you don't really look at the wide receiver position and say, man, LSU is, LSU really, how many more spots do they have is what you think of. But Calvin Russell, 5-star, number 3 wideout in the country out of South Florida. Going into the visit, I think most people felt that, getting him out of the Sunshine State was going to be tough. I think now you're going to start seeing a lot more pro-LSU talk coming out of the Russell camp. Some of that, I think some of that is obviously due to the tradition LSU has. You're building such a strong wide receiver class right here that they already have. But also, Cortez Hankton has just really, he's kind of locked in and zeroed in on a few guys in this class that, some people are kind of surprised that, oh, wow, LSU is as big of a player right here. Tristan Keys, everybody knew that LSU was in the mix, but he visits and then commits. And everybody's like, whoa, where did that come out of? No one had him on commit watch going into that unofficial visit to LSU. So, I think you really have to tip your hat to Cortez Hankton and the job that he's done recruiting that position in this cycle.
What about Jaden Crimpton?
Yeah, big offensive lineman out of Prosper, Texas. Will Campbell, I remember hearing a story about Will Campbell's agent is actually from the area and knows the Crimpton family and stuff. And so that's a little, I don't know how much that really comes into play here, but just a little, one little LSU connection. But he's a guy who visited Ohio State, visited a couple of other places, been to LSU several times. And I think when you look at offensive linemen and you start saying, okay, who is LSU going to add to go with Briston Martinez, to go with Jalen Chapman? I think Jaden Crimpton is now at the top of the list right there. Emmanuel Iheanacho is another 5-star offensive lineman who was in town also this weekend. But looking at and trying to kind of forecast of who LSU has the best shot at that position, I think it lies with Crimpton right now.
Jamarian Carlton is also a name that I saw y'all said visited. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, big 5-star defensive lineman out of Texas. He's actually got a commitment date already set. And so Calvin Russell does too. He's another one who's going to be committing right around July 4th in that time frame. But, Carlton and Trenton Henderson is another big 5-star defensive end edge guy who was also on campus this weekend. And, those two guys right there, you've got Lamar Brown right there. When you look at the defensive end position, you say, okay, LSU just, you can't let Lamar Brown get out of the state. You already got, you got one of the best tackles in the country, Richard Anderson, in your backyard at Edna Carr. You've already got him on board. And if you can get those two at those two positions, and then you go out and then you bring another out-of-state guy in at that position. I mean, you're talking about some really elite level class that LSU can pull in, looking at the board that they have. And Henderson and Carlton are two guys at that defensive line / edge position that that fit that mold. Who, coming off of this weekend, I think you'll, I think you'll see LSU when they start saying, okay, here's my top 5, here's my final 4. I think you'll see LSU make a strong push into all of those cuts.
It's kind of remarkable to me in this first weekend how many 5-star players LSU had on campus in this one class. Do you think that was among the best in the country? Is that fair to say?
Man, I tell you what, you had multiple, but I know Miami had Tristan Keys down there this weekend, and also Lamar Brown.
Okay.
So that's 2 5-stars right there. But I think you could put this LSU visit list that was, I'm trying to pull it off the top of my head, I think a dozen deep. Since the one kid couldn't make it in. But, when you compare that visit list to other schools around the country, it's going to be hard to say, okay, I think this one right here looks more impressive.
What's your confidence level Tristan Keys sticks with his commitment when signing day comes?
I think when I say it has a Decorian Moore feel to it, I don't mean in the sense of him being, I guess, like as imminent maybe of a flip as we kind of started seeing the tea leaves, reading the tea leaves and getting those feels on Decorian Moore. I think Tristan Keys is going to be a little bit different of a situation because of, grew up an LSU fan right there in Hattiesburg. LSU's got some ties with some staff members to the area and to the school and stuff. And so, I do think it's going to be one of those situations to where it's going to go down to the end. He may stay committed the whole time, but there's not a doubt in my mind that once we hit December, we're going to be looking at another announcement date, if not before that.
That's just the way things go. I think everybody's
the way things are, man. Yeah,
I think everybody's conditioned to it too. I don't think it shocks anybody when those things kind of happen. It just is what it is. We appreciate.
But I will say, hey, I will add this though. I think with LSU fans, I think if you look at where the football program is now and where the NIL force is right now compared to where it was a year ago at this time, when you had Decorian Moore, when you had Bryce Underwood, and you had some of those situations come up, LSU is in a much better situation to be able to address those issues, to be able to come with more better offers, higher offers, to be able to come with the things that they need to offset what the other schools are selling them. And so, while that's become the nature of the game, I think LSU fans should feel a lot better about where they are now as opposed to where they were just a year ago.
Yeah, just as long as Oracle doesn't get involved, I think LSU will be okay. But once Oracle shows up, you might be in some trouble.
Yeah, Jerry Jones. Look, if Jerry Jones wants a guy, to go to Arkansas, come on, how you gonna beat that? Come on, unless Todd Graves sees a quarterback that he wants to see at LSU,
Chicken versus oil and gas and the Cowboys, beautiful thing. Sonny, we appreciate some time, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, brother. Have a good one, man.
You too. Me is Sonny Shep, 24/7 Sports, all over the recruiting. If you're looking for coverage, go 24/7. Great spot. Glenn West with us on Tuesday. He's been up at the box the last couple of days, and Sonny's all over the recruiting side. Big weekend for LSU as far as visitor goes, so I wanted to check in on that. But let's transition back to baseball when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com, airline at Piku near Woman's Hospital. Every single model in the Genesis line, all of them, entry level to the highest end, was given the IHA top safety pick. All of them. Some got top safety pick plus. When you get behind the wheel of a Genesis, when your family gets into a Genesis, you are in one of the safest vehicles on the road. It's easy when you get into test drive to feel the comfort, to see how wonderful the drive is. You can demo all the wonderful features. That's all easy to see. Safety, probably need somebody to test that. You can take their word to the bank when you're talking about an IHA top safety pick. It's one of the safest vehicles on the road. If that's very important to you in your next vehicle purchasing situation, go buy Genesis. Airline at Piku, or check out that entire inventory at genesisofbatonrouge.com. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge, online at genesisofbatonrouge.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Gulf Coast Office Products.
Monday show is brought to you by Gulf Coast Office Products. All your printing, scanning, copying needs, check them out at Gulf Coast Office Products. GCOPnet.com is where you can find them. Okay. LSU and Little Rock tonight. The team can't do this. Jay Johnson won't do this. And I understand that we could be 10 hours from this being a completely worthless discussion. However, as it stands, I think it's reasonable to have this discussion with you, the LSU fan, if you're not aware of this. LSU on this bracket that I've got printed out from last week is on the right-hand side. And this right-hand side is who LSU is competing with to get to the national final. So all the teams on the left side of this sheet of paper, LSU can't play them until the national championship series. Everybody on the right, LSU is in line with. The top of this bracket is Texas. They're out. UTSA has won that regional. Then you've got the Los Angeles regional where UCLA won. I think UCLA is a fine team. I don't think they're great. Then you've got Ole Miss, who's playing Murray State tonight to stay alive. The Racers could come out of that regional. Then you've got Georgia, who's out. Then you've got LSU. Then you've got Clemson, who's out. West Virginia's won that regional. And then you've got Tennessee, who's playing for their life today against Wake Forest. And then you've got Arkansas. Already on LSU's side of a potential Omaha bracket. I know they still have to get there, but we're talking about it. On LSU's Omaha side of the bracket, Texas is out. Ole Miss is on the ropes. Georgia's out. Clemson's out. Tennessee's on the ropes. This thing is breaking in a positive way for LSU. Now, still, in your first game in Omaha, you would have to play the winner of the Arkansas regional, which is Arkansas, and then either Tennessee or Wake. And that's not going to be a layup no matter what. But Georgia's gone. Texas is gone. I don't think UCLA is that great. And Ole Miss is playing Murray State. And that's your Omaha bracket. 2 years ago, when you went up there, you had to go through the number one team in the nation, Wake Forest, played them 3 times, and Tennessee, who led the nation in ERA. Like, that is a tough draw. And then when you got out of that, you played Florida, who's the 3rd best team in the country. I think LSU was the best team. I think Wake was 2nd. I think Florida was 3rd. That was as brutal a run-through as you could get when you got to Omaha. There was no Kent State up there. There was no Indiana up there. There was no Stony Brook up there. It was really tough stuff. And I'm not here to completely dismiss Duke or completely dismiss UTSA or completely dismiss Ole Miss. But those teams don't look like that Wake team looked. And that's what, to me, personally, made last night so jarring. Because I was sitting there in the afternoon looking at that, going, oh my gosh, they're out, and they're out, and they're out, they're out. Murray State, UTSA. I mean, you're in this thing. I know that there are a lot of LSU fans today that are rightly frustrated and shocked by what they watched last night. I know that. But you can't discount the fact that the team still does include Anthony Ianson and Cade Anderson. And if you can find a way tonight to beat Little Rock, they're back in action at home. And these are the teams on your side of this bracket. There is some real potential in this tournament. And yeah, the offense goes cold sometimes. And yeah, the back end of the bullpen gives you the heebie-jeebies. But it's still there. And I keep doing this because there's probably some other LSU fans that are sitting this going, we're going to beat freaking Little Rock tonight. Case and Evans going, Zach Collins, we're going to hit some, we're going to beat Little Rock at home. And some probably dismissing it. I'm a little terrified, personally. I'm just giving you my thoughts. I know y'all think I'm a Debbie Downer, but I keep going back to this. And this is what is giving me solace today. I told you at the top of the show, I have a pit in my stomach the size of a watermelon right now. Because the day after LSU's baseball season ends is not a good day in my headspace. That is an abyss until they put helmets and shoulder pads on in August that I don't like diving into. I'd like to run this thing out a little bit. I keep coming back to this. LSU is 45-15. Got 3rd place in the Southeastern Conference, won 7 of 10 SEC series. Little Rock is 27-33. They're the lowest RPI team in the field. They're playing their 5th game in 4 days. In that stadium, including last night, LSU is 32-6. LSU this season has only lost back-to-back games to the same team twice. They got swept at Auburn, counting that as 1, and they lost back-to-back games at Texas. That's it. In that stadium, no one has beaten LSU 2 games in a row. So I feel like, personally, there's a better likelihood that LSU wins the game tonight by 8 than loses. But this is baseball. This is the sport where the underdog has the greatest shot. And that's why Fresno State won a national championship. That's why Coastal Carolina won a national championship. And that's why, as I sit here today, Vanderbilt and Texas and Georgia are home. It's just an unpredictable sport. Now, I've had people text me today the money line on this game, and you can catch better than 10-1 on Little Rock winning. So if you'd like to throw $100 down to win 1,000 as an emotional hedge, I saw somebody say I can put this down, win a G if I'm miserable tonight and Little Rock beats LSU. You can get down on that in an emotional hedge. But there's just not much I can point to that would suggest that this is favorable to Little Rock. If I tried, I would say they won 5 games in 4 days last week. They've scored 40 runs in the last 3 games, and they're playing with nothing to lose. That's the side of the coin for Little Rock. The side of the coin for LSU is much better roster, much more consistent all year, much fresher, better pitching. I mean, I asked last night, Shohei Ohtani, masquerading around as Angel Cano, said, hey, I haven't seen all your games, but imagining that Nude at 94 and Shores at 100 is more velocity than y'all have seen. Is there an adjustment? And his eyes look up and he's like, yeah, it is an adjustment. But you just got to make the adjustment and do it. He didn't have a lot of trouble. He hit Nude off the scoreboard and ripped Shores down to the corner. But Case and Evans is going to be throwing 97 miles an hour to start things off today. Now, Cowan won't, but that's elite college command. At Texas A&M twice, got hit at Columbia. Why would I give you confidence? Well, because Zach Cowan doesn't walk people. Zach Cowan has 10 walks on the season. I don't know if Zach Cowan's going to go out there and throw 5 shutout innings or give up 5 runs in 2 innings. I don't know what he's going to do when he gets out there tonight. But I know he's going to throw it over the plate. And Little Rock's team has not been good offensively all year until the last 72 hours. And LSU's defense has made 1 error the whole weekend. This LSU defense is elite. The middle infield's elite. Braswell's playing good at third. The outfield can really run. Like, LSU is playing great defense, and the ball should be in play with Zach Cowan out there. Now, Evans has walked 7 in his last, let me look, I wrote this on LouisianaSports.net in my preview, which you can read over there for free if you'd like. I wrote how many Evans had walked, which is a little bit higher than you would like. He walked, well, I can't find it. I think it's 7 and 8 in the last 8 1/3, something, or 9 1/3, something like that. Like, that's a little bit higher than you want. In a couple of his last 3 outings, he's walked 3. But you've got to throw the ball over the plate. I think Evans will do that. I know Cowan will. Will they hit it? I can't tell you. South Carolina hit 2 triples and a homer. A&M hit a triple and a homer. But he didn't walk anybody. So that's job 1 tonight, is make sure that you don't walk 11 guys and have 8 of them come in to score like you did last night. Because that's just handing it to him. It's going to be really interesting to get in that stadium tonight and see kind of what the vibes are. Is LSU as loose as Little Rock? Do they come out and attack, light up attack's pitching staff? Or do things get real tense real quick? Because from the 3rd inning on last night, it was tense in that building. If you were there, you know that. If you were watching on TV, I'm sure you sensed it. I would rather be playing Little Rock tonight than North Carolina, like Oklahoma is. But that does add this mental element to it that doesn't exist if you're playing a team that you feel like is your peer. And I don't feel like Little Rock is LSU's peer. They sure beat the brakes off them last night. It's going to be interesting. And tomorrow, I'm either going to be in here lamenting the fact that you suffered the most embarrassing loss in program history and wasted the best 1-2 punch that you've had in my lifetime, or talking about how you are now in position to go make a run at this thing. Because I don't see a juggernaut out there. LSU's top 2 is as good as anybody. And if you win tonight, then hey, you got Zach Cowan and Case and Evans some work and some more at-bats. Great. Let's go play on Friday or Saturday. And now all of a sudden, your season's not on the line, and you've got your guys back and ready to go. It's going to swing one way or another in a big, big way just before midnight tonight. There's an element of excitement. There's an element of nerves. I'm curious how y'all are feeling. Bayou Ford chat, if you're listening to me and not just chatting amongst yourself, tell me how you're feeling emotionally. Beck, how are you feeling emotionally about this game? You feel like, are you one of those that says it's Little Rock, they're going to win, don't sweat it, or you're like, this is a little dicey?
I was looking at your tweets last night and just the one about the pitcher that had a 10 ERA in the Ohio Valley.
Yeah, LSU couldn't hit him.
He went 5 1/3. It's just it makes me think, like, and just seeing all the other upsets that are happening, it's just, man, this is so much like March Madness. Like, you just never know what's going to happen. You never know what team is just going to have the perfect night and win. But look, if let's just say take the regional out of it. Let's just say LSU is going to play Coastal Carolina best of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Is LSU going to win 2? I mean, I would say there's no chance they don't win 2.
That actual year, that was in 2016.
Yeah,
because they lost both games.
Yeah,
they got swept.
Yeah.
Lane gave up 4 homers in the first game.
So to me, it's like, okay, if that can happen.
The guy Malcolm Brown, who shut LSU down last night, we talked to him in the media tent after the game. His son's first birthday was yesterday, and so when that child was born at the end of last baseball season, he went to his coach and said, "Coach, I don't think I can play anymore. I got to go get a job. I got a family now." And the coach talked him out of it, said, "Hey, how close are you to graduating?" Said, "Got a year left." Said, well, "Has anyone in your family ever graduated?" "No." "Okay, well, you could be the first. See if we can make this work." And they decided to do it. That's a great story in and of itself. But you're talking about a guy that nearly quit baseball.
Yeah.
To go get a job. And the coach asked him, "Well, what are you going to do?" And he's like, "I don't know. I'll just go get like that." That's the guy who came into the box last night and went 5 1/3. This is not somebody that came in there that's going to be a third-round pick of the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
It's a guy that just about quit to go do whatever, work construction.
Yeah, this is what is, it's hard to say as an LSU fan, but these are the stories that make college baseball and college basketball so cool, especially in the tournament.
If you're using the college basketball analogy, the walks LSU issued was essentially LSU turned the ball over 26 times last night,
Yeah.
and then Kano scored 36.
Yeah, and some guy on the team that, averaged like 5 points a game, and he scored 30.
First of all, Kano went nuts in the game before that.
He did.
And then he did it again. So I just assumed, I grabbed the stat sheet when I got in the press box. I just assumed he had a monster year. He's a really good hitter.
No.
Nope, hitting 250. He did nothing in the Ohio Valley. He's hitting off the scoreboard. He's taking 100-mile-an-hour fastballs and hitting missiles into the corner. I don't know what I was watching last night. It was not what I was planning on watching.
Yeah, it was shocking.
I was up in the press box looking
sure.
like a lunatic. I'm putting a rally hat on. I'm changing seats. I'm just trying to do anything I can do to help morale, and it's just not working.
Yeah, it's tough, but yeah, I am expecting LSU to win this game 10-2, but
God, would that make my life a happy place?
It would, but it's just I don't know if they can. If Little Rock is just, they seem destined for something.
That's just. I want them destined for Little Rock. Go home.
This is a great story. Now
it's not a great story.
No,
the story sucks. I hate the story.
I'm saying it's a great story. Like, if they make it this far, they lose. They lose anyway. It's still a good story either way. But
I got the sense from hearing Chris Curry, their coach, talk last night. Like he said, he used terms like, when I took the job, I told people we can win at Little Rock, which basically meant like we've kind of accomplished where we thought we could potentially ever go. Like we went to the box and won a game. They get to a super. Goodness gracious, that'll be a fun show tomorrow. Let's not do that. Let's go to break. Let's talk Kirk Cousins of the Saints next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. How about a tub-to-shower conversion? Simple, time-efficient, financially feasible. If you've got a big tub that takes up a lot of space that you don't use, or you've got an old, dingy tub that's unsightly that you don't take a bath in, take it out. Put in a glass walk-in shower. It changes the look of your bathroom, functionality of your bathroom, adds value to your home. You spend a lot of time in your bathroom. Make it look beautiful. David Duvall and his team can absolutely do that, and they can do it to your specs, to your custom fit. Check out the pictures of their fantastic work online at onebathandclosets.com, and then request that free consultation right there on the website. David's been at this 3 decades. He can come over, and I promise you they'll do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. You'll love working with David and his team. Make that call or check them out online today. It's One Bath and Closets, onebathandclosets.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
Got a question in the Bayou Ford chat. Nick Marchand says, play Ianson a couple innings if need be. Is that possible? Possible, yes. I have no idea. I know what LSU's protocol is. They have testing, physical testing, that they do on pitchers for what they call bounce back, how quickly you can go. They use it more for relievers. If you go 40, how many days off do you need before you're back to normal? If you go 60, how many do you need? If you go 12, what do you like? And they have that for everybody. For the starters, it's obviously a little bit of a different deal, but like last year, Gage Jump started on Friday and did come back and try to close out the game on Monday. Ianson threw 98 pitches on Friday. It is possible, but I have no idea what his bounce back thing is. So they'll certainly evaluate that. I just couldn't tell you how likely it is that it would happen, but I will not rule it out at all. So we'll see tonight what the case may be. All right, saw some odds for Kirk Cousins' next employer. Obviously, the Falcons threw some cash at him, and then 5 minutes later drafted Michael Penix. And then it looked like late in the season, that's the direction the Falcons are going to go. So Cousins will be on the move, and the Saints are among the 5 favorites to land Kirk Cousins. The question is, does that make any sense? And the answer is yes. It does make sense. I'm not talking about does it make sense to try to win the Super Bowl. I'm talking about does it make sense to bring in Kirk Cousins to your team in 2025. The Saints have some cash freed up, so they might be able to throw some money at him. And my only stipulation is no dollars on that contract in 2026. None. Zero. Because I don't care. what you pay anybody in 2025 because I don't think the Saints are going to be a great team in 2025. But if you can bring a guy in that over the course of his career has thrown for over 40,000 yards, I think that's worthwhile for Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shook. Kirk Cousins may be a little awkward in interviews, may have some moments on camera that aren't the coolest thing you've ever seen. Got it. May not have had immense playoff success. I don't care about any of that. He very, very clearly understands how to play quarterback in the National Football League. And he's done so with an incredibly high production rate for better than a decade. So I'm not talking about bringing in Kirk Cousins to go win the division. I'm talking about bringing in Kirk Cousins as someone in the facility with Tyler Shook and Spencer Rattler who can help them learn to be true professionals. I don't know what Derek Carr was helping Spencer Rattler with last year. Maybe a lot, maybe nothing. Couldn't tell you. But he's not there anymore. And I don't know how receptive Kirk Cousins would be to that role. So that's the side of this equation I don't have any information on. But if you're just giving me the surface level deal here, where you call Kirk Cousins and say, hey, we've got X money, got a little change dropped in our lap when Derek Carr retired, Ryan Ramczyk retired, like we got a little money, we can give you this for 1 year, but we don't think you're going to be the starter, but we'd like you to come in and be part of the team. That sounds great. If he's hell-bent on being the starter and is not going to help Tyler Shook or Spencer Rattler at all and just try to win the job, well, then I don't have any use for you. I need those guys to get experience on the field. But if you can come in and teach them how to handle a game week, teach them how to handle a game plan, teach them about some of the defensive coordinators in the league and what you've noticed here, what you've noticed there, what you did when this happened, what you did when that happened, how to handle your offensive line. If you just some of those things that Tyler Shook and Spencer Rattler don't have, there's value in that. It's the same reason I'm fine signing Carson Wentz. The same reason if Teddy Bridgewater wants to play in the NFL, good. But make no mistake, like Teddy Bridgewater and Carson Wentz have made a lot of money in the NFL. Kirk Cousins has thrown for a lot of yards in the NFL. Kirk Cousins has won games. He's played in playoff games. There's value in what he has upstairs. And so, yeah, if that's something the Saints can work out for 1 year, I'm completely in. You might say, God, that guy's such a goober, played for the Falcons. I don't want any part of that. Like, that's not the point. We're trying to do everything we can to get to the next great Saints team. And if you think there's knowledge, wisdom, and some practices that can be taught from that guy that can help the quarterbacks that are currently in-house get to that point, I'm all in for that. Now, Cousins' productivity has gone off a cliff over the last couple of years, largely due to injuries, and he's 36 years old. He threw a career-high 16 picks last year in 14 games. Like, I get all that, but it's not what I'm talking about. I'm only talking about his ability as a leader and a mentor to younger players. And a guy that's got 13 years of experience throwing for 40,000 plus yards. That sounds great to me if the Saints can pull it off. Sounds like the Colts are probably the team to beat there. Would be another Falcon quarterback going to Indianapolis to ride off in the sunset there. Colts have taken Phillip Rivers and Matt. Like they've done this a good bit. But I'm in for this if you can make it work for 1 year and the dollars and cents make sense to Cousins. But I don't know what his emotional and mental mindset is regarding that kind of a role on a team. So we'll see what happens. If you're looking for Saints news, you can find it on our YouTube channel, Hunt on Saints. Ross Jackson doing a great job over at LouisianaSports.net. All your Saints coverage for free over there at LouisianaSports.net. Our Monday show is brought to you by Gulf Coast Office Products. We'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Gulf Coast Office Products.
Our Rad Dad contest is back and bigger than ever. Roaming Shot Outdoors and Citizens Bank and Trust bring you Dad's favorite gifts ever: a green egg thanks to Goodwood Hardware, a steak pack from Chris's Specialty Foods, Manly soap from Hawk Soap, and a hunting class for 2 from Roaming Shot Outdoors. Upload pictures at 1045ESPN.com now through June 8th. Then get your friends and family to vote June 9th through the 12th. Happy Father's Day to all those rad dads out there.
You know what my Father's Day plan is, Beck?
I'm going to guess nothing.
I have a plan.
I'm going to guess you're going to be doing nothing, though.
Well, I'm hoping that I have to do something.
Okay. What is that?
I'd be in Omaha.
Oh, well.
It's the first weekend of the College World Series.
I keep thinking for some reason that it's this weekend, but it's next weekend.
It's when I'm supposed to be in Omaha.
Yeah.
I will not be in Omaha if LSU loses tonight.
No, you won't.
They're underway over in Chapel Hill. It's North Carolina and Oklahoma. Tar Heels lead 3-2 in the third. Oklahoma just hit a 2-run homer to cut that 3-0 lead to 3-2. It'd be wild if Oklahoma wins this game. They'll have won the Chapel Hill Regional in losing the game that Kyson Witherspoon pitched, which is not something I had in the playbook for the Oklahoma Sooners. But a lot of baseball today. You got Tennessee and Wake Forest that'll play a little bit later. You got Ole Miss and Murray State. You got LSU and Little Rock. You got Oregon State playing Southern Cal out in Corvallis. So lots and lots of baseball. To me, for LSU, it feels like it's hard for me to see LSU scoring like 5 runs tonight. I think it's 1 of 2. I think the dam completely breaks on Little Rock and LSU scores 13 or 14. Or it's like the Houston series in 2014 where LSU just goes into a 2-day complete rut and LSU scores like 1 or 2. And that also happened to Oregon State in the College World Series when LSU beat them. Lang got them, which Lang and Hess getting you happens. Caleb Gilbert, with a little help from the on-plate umpire, they just couldn't hit the ball. And for 2 days, a team that was 56-4, 59-4, whatever they were, couldn't hit. And that feels like the way out for LSU. If they just don't hit anything, they just keep popping up, ground balls to shortstop, and they score 1 or 2 runs. But hopefully that dam breaks on Little Rock and LSU puts up the 13.
All right, so what's your final prediction, Hunt?
I'll give it to you after we play a little bit of something we just got sponsored. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Shout out to Flight by Yingling. You heard it there. Just took 4 years to get that segment sponsored. It is summertime. Get the next generation of light beer. It's Flight by Yingling. Not Yingling Light, which is also very good, but Flight by Yingling. You're talking about just 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. I sampled this last week, picked it up at a local store, and it is crisp, it is cool, it is refreshing, it is perfect for the golf course, the pool, the grill, the ballpark. All summer long, Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Beck?
Alrighty, first one here. You will win the Masters lottery. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it because I haven't entered.
Leave it alone.
That's going to make that tough.
I sent you the link, though, so you have
did.
no excuse now.
I could.
You had until June 20th to sign up.
Okay, I can make that happen. Buzzy was in the press box last night showing me his Augusta pictures.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Sad story for Buzz, though.
Yeah.
He had late tee time this year for their Augusta round that the volunteers get, and the darkness got him at the end. They had to stop late.
Dang. That's unfortunate.
He said he was going to shoot like 90-something, so he was
he
okay
gets to
with
play
it.
every year,
He'll be
so
back
he'll
next
be
year.
all right. All right, next one here. If you win the Masters lottery, I'll get one of the tickets. Take it or leave it.
Probably going to leave that back.
Leave it alone.
All right. Good to know.
Got some people that might come just before you on the list. You're on the list.
Oh, that's good.
But
Well,
the
at
list
least I'm on
has
the list,
some, I mean,
guess.
if you got some folks that have other prior obligations the first weekend in April,
Okay.
potentially you could find your way.
Well, I was thinking about if I won, then I would probably bring you, but now I'm not sure about that.
Well, why not?
Well, because I have other people ahead of you in the list, probably. How about that? All right, next one. Thunder and Pacers in the NBA Finals. Take it or leave it.
This is not even intentional. I'll take it. Sure.
I'll take it.
I think apparently the Thunder are good. I have not watched a dribble in the NBA playoffs yet. It's not even intentional. I'm watching
I thought
college
you watched
baseball.
that Knicks game. You didn't end up. Okay.
I didn't end up watching. On the weekends, I'm watching all baseball. I got the SC tournaments going on.
Yeah.
And I don't dislike the NBA. I just haven't gravitated over there.
Yeah,
How's Chet playing for the Thunder?
He's doing pretty well. The
I
Thunder,
hear Halliburton's getting buckets for the Pacers.
Yes, he is. He has been playing extremely well. It's funny, like the NBA obviously are probably not very happy with his outcome. 2 small market teams, but at least they had the reigning MVP in it. But the Thunder, the Thunder just seem like they made the finals last year, so it seems like they're ready to take the next step. In the Pacers, it should be a good series, but not the most exciting of teams.
The Pels need to get Sam Presti. That's my hot take. That would be good for them to get a guy that can win a lot in Oklahoma
Just call
City.
up Gail, tell her, just look, give him a blank check, tell him to come
What does
over
Sam
here.
think about a little Galatoire's lunch? Maybe a little Arnaud's. What does he think about Mardi
wine
Gras
and dine
parades? Get him over here.
Yeah. All right. Last one here. Saquon Barkley will be on the cover of Madden 26. Of course, won the Super Bowl Offensive Player of the Year, basically every accolade you could get as a running back. Barkley will suffer the Madden curse. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it.
Leave it alone.
The guy's a monster. He's
He
probably
is.
going to run for another 2,000 yards.
Probably so.
Just dominate people because he's really good.
I don't think he's Peyton Hillis.
What was the deal with that?
Yeah. All right, that's take it or leave it.
Yeah, presented by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. All right, my pick. I got 20 seconds.
Yes.
10-5.
What?
LSU.
All right.
Win the regional, beat Little Rock in baseball. They're under 500 by like 20 games. And let's go play in a super against West Virginia next weekend and lower my blood pressure a little bit. I'll be at the box. You can read about it at LouisianaSports.net. Matt will drive you home and get you ready. I'll either be real happy tomorrow or real sad. We'll see you then.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
There it is.